I Am Not Dead, Part 11, and we'll call it technically completed. I had left off with electrical on the last video, and I haven't done a video in going on 5 months. I've just been really busy at work, and I've been trying to get the garage insulated and organized. It just started getting cold here, so I got it done just in about time. I still have the ceiling yet to do. Have a heater in here, so I don't have to listen to this thing all the time. And some of my tools are organized-ish, but this is not really a home improvement show. So I've compiled somewhat of a list, and we'll get to it. Sending units are hooked up. Get your water here, boost, oil's down there. They're all wrapping back around to the firewall. Parameter's still hanging out here because I might have to take my dash off again, but with the exception of running some wires up here to the headlights and marker lights and such, engine bay is pretty much done. Threw some new headlights in here and marker lights. Trying to black the grill out. Looks a little bit better to me. The other headlights were pretty white. I didn't really care for them. They stood out too much, as well as the marker lights being orange. Run around to the back. On my fill neck hooked up. Runs in there. And just drops into my tonneau cover. Speaking of which, my tonneau cover is on. And also have my windjammer on, which is going to have to be modified slightly, because when the seats try to go back, it pushes on these down bars right here, and it's not quite long enough for it, so not really a big deal. I'll get to it when I get to it. So this is about all I'm going to be able to give you for lighting in this situation. I'm sure you'll see it in another video later on with this tonneau cover off, but it's not really that fun to get on and off. Red tops in here. Dual battery switch. That is a splitter for my alternator, so I don't have to run my batteries in parallel. I can actually run my input for my alternator to this, and then it can split to go to the positives on each individual battery. Then I'll run the negatives together. There's a breaker switch, just circuit protection. There's my AN fittings and my lines running out. Sending unit, air compressor. This is the wires that are going to drop into the tail light housing right here. So I can get brakes, blinkers, tail lights, reverse lights. These are wired up, good to go. And all these wires run along the side here, and they're stopped right here. And this is all actually 10 gauge wire, which is entirely overkill, and that's the way I wanted to do it on purpose, because I didn't feel like doing a bunch of relays and stuff. So 10 gauge is good for 30 amps or so, depending on length of wire, and the only thing that even comes close to that is my air compressor. So I'll have an appropriated fuse for it, and that's really all that's going to be there. It'll go from the fuse block to the switches, from the switches to these wires out to the devices. Speaking of which, my dash is now mounted in here. The only two sending units I have hooked up right now are three, water, boost, and oil pressure. My fuse block and a mess of wires. I'm not even close to being done with it, so this is not what it's going to look like. Here's my vintage air heater. Let me take a peek at my list and see what else we got. It's been so spread out, I don't even remember what I've done anymore. Ah, yes. Oh. Fuel lines come through my tub. They run along this way to the fuel water separator. So you have the line from the fuel cell is the larger one right here. This is my return line. And that just runs that way to the injection pump. And I am down here, so I might as well show you this. Built my own turbo downpipe. Clears everything alright. Comes to this flex pipe that I stole from a guy at the exhaust shop when I was picking up some random stuff. It's clamped right there and runs and runs and runs and runs and ends right here. Just dumps right at the back axle. I need to bend a piece of pipe that goes over that, and that portion will be done. And today I installed my fire extinguisher. It's a Drake fire extinguisher mount. A gentleman, I believe it was Jeep Army USA, had asked me to do somewhat of a review. Well, here it is. Got it mounted in my bar. It's a nice design. You just pull the pin, it rolls out, and you've got it in your hand. I've got it high enough that it's not blocking my vision, and it's I'm not going to clunk my head or anything on it, so it should be pretty good. Like I said, I called this video technically complete because I can jump in it. I can hit a switch, hit a push button start, and away she goes. I'm sure you guys don't want to see me sitting there splicing wires and putting wire loom and stuff like that on it. It's just not very interesting. So I can get in it and drive it. I just need to make it street legal. Speaking of driving it, I did take it off-roading, and I apologize for not making a video about it because I would have liked to, but it was a time crunch, and we got out there. It was almost dark by the time we got out there, and we wheeled around. It was a lot of fun, but the Jeep still definitely needs some work. The fan that I mentioned in my earlier video, how it was close to the steering box there, is a really big issue. Anytime this motor torques, that fan twists a little bit and it rubs on it. So I need to either put a bigger spacer on there or put electric fans, which I do not want to do that because that just goes against the entire philosophy of this being utilitarian and basic. Next thing that happened was I didn't have my sway bar pushed far enough over to the driver's side, causing this to get caught. I don't know if you could see that shiny bit right there on my coil tower. And it tweaked this ear. And that thing is straight compared to what it was. I mean, it was mangled. I hardly even got it off with a sledge. And lastly, this engine weighs a lot. And this isn't just a typical 4BT build in a JK where it was done by a company and you keep your same transmission and transfer case and stuff like that. So I have the added weight of, you know, a 3/4 ton, 1 ton truck into this frame, and these springs are not handling it. This is a 6-inch spring, and I know, taboo, there's a coil spacer up there right now. You can crucify me if you want, but I wanted to drive this thing around a little bit, and it's not, like I said, not handling the weight very well. It's really wobbly and odd feeling. Has a death wobble, and that's because I haven't torqued any of this stuff to spec, and it's not aligned. The tires aren't balanced. These tires are really heavy too. I mean, it's just not a good combination, and that's all my fault. It's not poor engineering. I'm just rushing so I can actually drive my Jeep that I've been working on forever. So this is definitely not my last installment of the videos, even though I'm saying it's technically complete. I just don't think you guys want to sit here and watch me wire this thing up and watch blinkers flash and stuff like that. It's just not interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish stuff as much as I can in the time allotted that I have, because I'm trying to jump back and forth between this thing and the garage and just life in general. And you'll see it, and I think I'm just going to do updates from here on out. I need new tires. I need to do something about my suspension. I want to do some steering stuff, some hydraulic assist. I want to tune this engine up, do some more paint on on these doors, on the doors I got hanging here. And I can't get to any of this stuff without actually finishing the garage here. I need to get the rest of the ceiling done. I want to get it painted in here so you don't have all these lighting issues that I'm always apologizing for. I mean, it is what it is. And I always find myself doing these videos at night. But yeah, just hang out and wait, because this is definitely not the last time you're going to see it. I'm going to do plenty of off-roading videos with this thing. I've got another rig that I plan on building up a little bit. I've got some 8 horsepower, 2 of them, motors I plan on building weird stuff with. I've got this mini bike, and I don't know if you've ever looked at the title of my channel, but it's not just about this Jeep. It's Jeeps off-road and guns, you know, and that's pertains to plenty of things. I've got lots of stuff that I want to build yet. Other things have just taken precedence. Pretty much this garage, because it's going to get painted after I'm done with this, so I can actually see what I'm doing, and it'll be warm in here because it gets really cold in the winter here. It's not a fun time. So with that being said, here's where it sits. Make sure you like and subscribe for more videos such as this, and stay tuned.